What's good, everybody? It is I, the man that you all know and love, Edigga, and I'm going to start the show a little different tonight, if I can. You notice that, uh, when I get on here, um, I am energetic. I'm ready to go, but tonight is a little serious. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. I, may crack a little joke here and there, but tonight is a little different because of an issue that I had that happened last week to a dear friend of mine. And I am I'm upset on two occasions because I didn't catch it when it happened. And uh I didn't talk about it when it happened, and I had to get it afterwards. And that's totally my fault. It's not the fault of the person that Imma have on tonight. It's totally my fault, and I'm upset about the ongoing issue with the police department across the United States. Like I said, Imma start the show a little different, and Imma start the show like this because I wrote a letter to the Lackawanna Police Department, and it reads, "To the Lackawanna Police Department, there are situations where police officers have failed to uphold their duty to protect and serve communities equally, especially towards people of color. Recent events of excessive use of force, police brutality, and racial profiling has prompted the need for an honest and critical examination of policing practices in the US. Rather than being seen as protectors of their community or communities, police officers have come to be viewed by many citizens as a threat to their lives and well being. It is essential to understand and address these issues if we are to restore public trust and to build stable and safer communities." That was my letter to the Lackawanna Police Department. And the reason why I chose to do that is because of my good friend, a sister who I claim as a sister. I got a lot of sisters. Something happened to her in her own home. So, and she's gonna talk about it, but I wanted to paint the picture because in my mind I'm still thinking about it because this happened like I think it was like last Friday when it happened. And here in Baltimore, they got it plastered all on their cars to protect and serve. And I think I speak when I say police departments across the country. It's plastic all on their vehicles, all on their letterhead and so forth, stationary. It's to protect and serve. And that's why I named this show to tonight, to protect and serve. Have we or have they gotten away from that? A lot of times when I spoke about the police department here in the US, what are they teaching people that goes to the academy? That's one. When they come out of the academy, have they lost focus? Because it seems to me like when they get that approval, that stamp to go out into the communities to protect and serve, after they get that seal of approval, that shield almost, that they lose focus of the initial point of all of this policing, protect, and serve. Situation happened in her home. This is where she lived. A person forcefully came into her home. And when she went to the Lackawanna Police Department, It's almost like they looked at her like she was lying. Now, how can you possibly lie about something that happened to you? So that gives me just one good reason. One good reason. They didn't feel like dealing with it. They didn't feel like dealing with the situation. So follow me now. Academy, graduation, out in the street, in the office, at a desk, person comes in for help. This particular day, I don't want to deal with the paperwork. Or I don't want to deal with this situation. And the reason why I'm saying all of this, people, because this is not the first time this has happened. This has happened to someone somewhere in the United States. Notice that I said United States. I didn't say Baltimore. I didn't say Ohio. The United States, this has happened to someone that needed help. What's on Edigga's mind is live right now. What's on Edigga's mind starts now. The views that are expressed on What's on Edigga's Mind are that of the show's host and does not necessarily reflect the views of BS3 TV Network. Viewer discretion is advised. That's right, good people. Welcome to. I got so much going on. I was getting ready to say, let's talk with Edigga. It's What's on Edigga's Mind right here in the Lion's Den Studios. Okay, see, stuff not even. I'm upset, people. I'm upset because this is a situation that needs to be talked about. It is talked about, but nothing is getting done. Listen to what I said. Nothing is getting done. We could talk all day, but we have to fish through these police departments and seek out the people who is really trying to make a difference instead of somebody sitting behind a desk collecting a check. Because at the end of the day, this is what goes on, believe it or not. You ask me how I know? Oh, I know. I don't necessarily have to work at the police department. When I was little, I never wanted to be a cop. That's crazy. You got little kids. Remember what you want to be, Jimmy, when you grow up? I want to be a police officer. Not me. I wanted to do the total opposite. I just wanted to fly the helicopter that they had. That's what I wanted to do. But anywho, joining me tonight is my sister, my good friend, my sister in media, my sister in podcasts. She is the host of Think and Grow with Vette Green. She is also the host of Slow Jammin and Conversations with Vette Green that was on just previously before What's on Edigga's Mind on WLEO 26.7 online radio. You know how I am. I can talk all day. I'm going to bring her in. She is Vette Green. How are you?
Oh my God. You know what, bro? I forgot how fantabulous you are with the graphics. Oh my God. I just you know you were my very first producer, right? You
Yes,
were my very,
yes,
very first
and
producer.
I
You were the
miss it.
first
I
one.
miss it so much. I miss it so
Oh
much.
man, I forgot how much I missed you. Oh my God, I'm sitting back there like, oh my God, like you don't just to give you your flowers right away because you were
Thank
the
you.
very first producer I had. You
Thank
were
you.
the very first person that like listened to my dream, my
Yes.
vision, and it was like every week you was just right there with me. You know, and all my vision. You know, you just like you just so creative and I forgot how because it's been over a year since we've
Yeah,
worked together, so
yeah,
I just want to say thank you for like helping mold me into Vette Green. So
and
I'm much appreciative, and I can't think of anyone else to help me tell my story,
right,
than you.
right.
So I appreciate you for asking me to be on the show. And I did not know you wrote that letter. Oh my God, you
Yeah,
just like blowing my mind.
yeah,
What's up,
I
bro? I see you, Don.
yeah, shout out to Sean the Don over there at the oh my gosh,
The
I'm
Evening
upset. I
Rush,
can't
the
yes, the
Evening
evening rush.
Rush Network.
Right, I can't even get it out. I am upset because this is oh my god, like how can you not offer help to someone in need?
Yeah,
And the highest authority in the country right now. I mean, of course, you got the army, you got the National Guard, but locally, who do people turn to when stuff like this happen? They go to the police. That's the first thing. And when you
yeah.
was telling your story, I saw your lives, and actually, I was going to play a video. The video that you posted, and you was standing right outside. I was going to play that video, but I decided not to.
Oh,
But the crazy thing to me is, it's like they I'm almost certain they looked at you like, what is she talking about? Like this sort of thing don't happen all the time. This it happens all the time.
yeah, more often than not.
Right. And as a woman at that, but it's something that you said in your live, and I said, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If you was a white woman, I said it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it again. If you was a white woman, the whole goddamn precinct will be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just the entire way it was handled, just from the time and I do acknowledge that, the cops they have to deal with a lot. I will not say
Right.
that they don't. You
Right.
911 some of the 911 calls you don't know if they're going to meet their own demise. They don't know. But I do know that living in Buffalo, and I'll say it again, we can act like it's not true, but Buffalo is still in the top 5 racist cities
Right.
in America. That means
Right.
a lot.
Right.
We've
It
been
does.
conditioned to just be this way, to be feeble and not use our voices as Black people. We were conditioned that way.
Right.
And until I moved away, I didn't realize just how conditioned we were to not use our voices. Even now, there's older people that refuse to speak up because they are still living in the Jim Crow times.
Right.
And it's the more we use our voice, Edigga, the more we have people like you and me speaking up against the things that are going wrong, the better off we'll be. It's the better off we'll be. And I remember that hopeless feeling. And the only thing I can think of, I felt like even now, I feel like I'm playing a movie about what happened. Like I
Right.
was freaking assaulted in my house.
Right.
In my house. I was assaulted, and for them, and it's the one cop. I'm not even gonna say it's the entire force. There definitely are some racist cops in Buffalo. They're because they were raised by racist parents. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like it doesn't just stop just because you're out the house. You still have that's the way you were raised, and you may not even know it's discrimination because you're
Right.
so conditioned to be like that.
Right.
But that feeling of hopelessness that you saw in that live, all I kept on thinking to myself is that I know one I know for a fact I'm not the only woman because I have a very close family member that went through this very similar circumstances last year in the same city. and the person that was trying to help them, their hands were tied. They felt hopeless
Right.
because the first thing they said and the first thing they told me too is the Bail Reform Act. The Bail Reform Act, the Bail Reform Act. That's all they keep on saying. And
Mhm.
yes, there are some things that happen with the Bail Reform Act, but now I'm starting to feel like, does that mean that women aren't protected?
Right.
Because that's how I
Right.
feel like, and especially as a black woman, like imagine walking into the police station
Mhm.
to talk to the cops, the very cops that are supposed to protect and serve you, to be made to feel like you were lying to them,
Right.
and then to be told. Now, this I did not say on the live, but there was a girl, there was a woman that in there. Thankfully, she ended up. If you go back to my live, she was in there. She heard the entire conversation. One of the things that he told me, this is Officer No Man. Yep, Officer No Man told me once. I said, Officer No Man, you saw the lock. We talked about it together.
Right.
He said to me, no, he did not. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself, like, are you really gonna do this? And then I'm like, you're really gonna stand there and lie in my face? And he's like, I did not see that. And he said, the officer that was with me will back me up.
Mm.
The
Let me
officer that was with me will back
let,
me up.
let me take a wild stab in the dark with
Mhm.
this one. When I asked you this, apparently they were white.
Actually, that's the thing about the. I live in a small town called Lackawanna, New York.
Right.
It's small enough where we can use Buffalo, the city. Buffalo is our city.
Okay.
Lackawanna is my town. Buffalo is
Okay.
my city.
Okay.
Um, the Lackawanna is highly populated with the Muslim community. They
Mm.
have actually taken this community and they're building it up. I mean, I don't want to hate on something that they were able to do that we have not been able to do because we can't unify. But there is a very highly populated Muslim community, so they
Mm.
stick together.
I'm
On top
almost
of
certain.
that,
Yeah.
yep, it's Polish, Italian. It's very highly, white community.
Right.
Put those two together. Those are the two of the wealthiest individuals in this town.
Right.
Those two communities, and then you have us, the African Americans.
Right.
Even though there's a lot of us, unfortunately, the majority of us low income.
Mhm.
So we aren't taken seriously in a
Right.
lot of ways. We just aren't taken seriously.
Right.
Officer No Man, Muslim. He's from the Muslim community.
Mm.
One of the councilwomen's on in the first ward. She's Muslim. They're pouring a lot of money into Lackawanna.
Right.
So the ones with the money, those are the ones that's going to take priority. Y'all can tell me I'm lying if y'all out there listening in Buffalo or Lackawanna. Feel free to jump in if you're listening, but we all know what it is. You can see it. You can
Right.
see it.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was not taken seriously at in the beginning. I'm still waiting, but we'll get more into that, Edigga.
Wow. First of all, I just want to say my apologies because I wanted to do this sooner. When I heard about it, I wanted to do this sooner. I wanted to have this interview sooner.
Yeah.
But needless to say, we're here now and we can talk about it. So
Mhm.
I want to show two pictures. And these are pictures of the door. Um,
Yeah.
and
So, oh, go ahead, Edigga.
I was going to say this is the door of the
Hmm.
forced entry of the person that came into your home.
Yeah.
And I remember you were saying that you showed Officer, is it Noman or
No,
Newman?
man. Yep. You see that
Noman.
little gold piece?
Right.
That part was hanging out. That so if you look, that's a very narrow hallway.
Right.
Right across from there is the door leading into that room that we were talking about.
Right.
Edigga, we saw that you could not miss that door. Like it's directly across the street. I am 5'3". I can
Mhm.
put my hands out like this and touch the doors. That's how close they are. A
Hmm.
wheelchair is barely big enough to, that hallway is barely big enough for a wheelchair and a person to go down. It's very, very narrow. So when we were walking out the room, that little gold piece that you see there was
Right.
hanging out.
Right.
He Officer Noman asked me, he said, were there any other damages? And I looked down and I said, oh, now mind you, my mind is a cloud. I had just gotten assaulted. I
Right.
am a person who was assaulted before. This is the third time I was assaulted. And
Right.
on top of that, Edig, I was raped. Like, I have some sexual abuse. So when I was down on that ground, imagine the triggers that were going on in my mind. So I'm in a cloud. My boss, one of my bosses, I had talked to both of them. One of them told me that I had talked to her, and I don't even remember the conversation. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I
Right.
was that triggered. So that gold piece was hanging out the door. And I said, oh, yeah, he must have tried to come through the door. And at the time, um, there was another officer coming back in the room as we were at the door talking about the
Right.
door.
Right.
I think I couldn't push it in, and he ended up fixing it so we can close the door back. And then
Right.
the other officer came in, and we went back out. I'm thinking he put it in the doggone report. Nothing. Edigga, that report was about 6 sentences.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. It was a paragraph.
Wow.
It was a freaking paragraph.
Wow. It's crazy how, like, we turn to the police for help. It's like when something happens, we turn to the police for help.
Yeah.
Out of family members, of course, we're gonna call family. We're gonna call family. And then there was something else that you said. You said that the officer said, "Why didn't you report this sooner?" And that's
Yeah.
that's that's still trying to register in my head. Like, the woman was just assaulted in her
Yeah.
house. Like, she's just gonna pick up the phone and call you.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Officer Jaworski.
I
Officer
don't understand.
Jaworski.
Like, I what are they teaching these people in the academy? And I've been
Mm-hmm.
preaching this for years.
Yeah.
Are they having special classes, people? Somebody please answer this. Are they having special midnight private classes? Say, hey, when a person comes to you for help, just ignore all of the shit. Are they doing that?
I don't know what's going on. And then the nature of me being attacked by me being a woman, they
Right.
didn't ask for pictures. There wasn't another woman officer that came. It was just as I'm replaying it in my mind, and then for Officer Jaworski to say that to me, I'm like, dude, thinking to myself at that when he said that to me, I looked at him and I felt tears coming down my eyes because how can you explain to an officer that's standing over you about 6'3", that's standing behind a freaking plexiglass that dude, how can I come and report? Like, I was raped before, I was assaulted before. I wasn't thinking like even talking about it is bringing tears to my
Right.
eyes because it's
Right.
like, what did you think I was going to be able to do the next day? Like, I was barely able to drag myself out of bed. Like, that is very, very triggering.
Right.
People don't understand when you experience assault, your mind like goes into fight or flight. Your
Right.
and my mind went into fight or flight, and my body was full of adrenaline. So
Right.
by the time I finally came down from that Edigga, it was literally like Saturday.
Right.
By the time I can like drag
Get
myself out
yourself
the
together.
bed,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Fully.
Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, like, and for Officer Jaworski to just not even not even like he didn't look at me. I felt as if he was not staring at another human being. I felt like because as black women, we have to be so strong no matter what. And I felt like that's all he was looking at. Like he wasn't looking at that I'm a freaking woman. Like
Right.
just that. Like why can't I be protected?
Right.
Why is it that we have to always protect ourselves?
Right.
Why can't we be afforded the same luxury of being able to. Yes, bro, it is trauma, Don.
Right.
It is
Right.
trauma. Like, I had to go get some freaking sleeping pills. Like, it's real. My doctor put me on anti-anxiety medicine because of this. I am suffering from freaking PTSD. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something that I'm just going to get over, you know, in a few days. This is something that I am going to actively have to work at,
Right.
because I've been assaulted before.
Right.
I've been raped before. So all of that stuff, while I'm down on the ground, all of that stuff, my body just went back to that, to
Right.
being raped and assaulted.
Right.
It doesn't matter if my clothes were still on, my body reacted to the things that they had experienced before.
So I did a little investigating after I saw the videos, I saw your lives, and I went to the Lackawanna Police Department on social media.
Hmm.
I love pets. I'm gonna say that before I say anything else. I love pets. I love dogs. I love cats. They had a police dog who recently died, and I shared my condolences first before I said what I said. And this is just me being concerned. This is me being a brother miles away, concerned for a friend who was just assaulted in her house. I said, my condolences to the dog. But what about the citizens of Lackawanna?
Yeah.
What about the citizens of Lackawanna? And I was going on.
Hmm.
Oh, but there's a Becky.
Always. There was one on mine too.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple
It
of
must have been
Beckys.
Karen's sister.
Yeah, Karen and Becky. There's a Karen and Becky in all the posts. And I was waiting for it, Vet. I said, bring it on. Because although you're grieving that dog died, I love pets. I got two.
Hmm. Hmm.
Biggie and Magic downstairs. They cats, though. I love pets. I love dogs. But what about human beings being assaulted in Lackawanna?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they do. I said, do they protect and serve? What happened to protect and serve? And that's, like I said, that's why it prompted me to do this show and have that title, Protect and Serve. Becky One said, oh, they do. I said, well, apparently they don't. Oh, but and Karen, well, she came with the paragraphs. I said, look at here. And I looked at the skin color. She said, I'm digging Biggie and Magic. Yeah. Yeah. So she comes with the whole racial post. I went now, first of all, people, I want to make this plainly clear. My stance on police, how I feel about some police. I didn't say all, some, because believe it or not, there's some good cops out there. There's some good police officers out there. My stance on some police officers across the country will remain the same. Y'all don't do nothing. And this
Yeah.
is why some people have problems with you. So she says she went on my page and she can see why I'm saying all of this about the Lackawanna Police Department. First of all, when you go on my page, it's not plainly, it's not that I'm scared of anything. I just don't sit around all day and say, "Oh, the police ain't shit. F the police." I'm every now and then you had to do some real digging, Karen. You had to do some real digging, Karen. Because I can't recall the last time I was in the police. You had to go back in 2017, 18, 19, bring it up to the current. You had to do some real. I know what it was, Karen. The fact that I'm concerned about my friend living in Lackawanna, Karen. That's what it was. It had nothing about what I was posting because, oh, you got to do some hell of a good digging. And you had all day to dig, Karen?
Yeah, they
That was the
told me to
first
get a
post.
life.
That was right. And I said
Told
that
me to
too.
get a
I said,
life.
get a life, get a life. Secondly, she tried to break down the history, talking about doing. I think that it was a snowstorm or some sort that the Lackawanna Police Department helped over 200 plus people.
Oh yeah.
Wait a
One
minute,
was me.
let me
Oh, there's definitely some good cops out
yeah,
there, but what about the ones who aren't?
right. Let me give some big cheers on that. Just had to just just had to give some big cheers on Lackawanna Police Department helping over 200 plus people. I don't want to, dismiss that.
Hmm.
But we come back to this, Karen. My friend was assaulted in her home. Big
Yeah,
difference. So
yeah,
you got to understand the frustration.
yeah.
You got to understand the frustration. And I said this, have you ever been assaulted in your house?
Probably not. We would have
Have,
heard about it.
right. It would have been plastered over the news. It would have been in newspapers. Karen
Hmm.
got assaulted in her home.
Hmm.
You see, and that's why I'm upset. We tend to gravitate towards them other people
Yeah.
when they get hurt. But what happens to the people of my color?
Yeah, it's not taken as seriously. I don't know if they think, oh, and I don't want to generalize it because it's not all cops. I was one of the individuals that one of the cops helped during the blizzard.
Right,
They're all not bad. They really aren't. There are some good cops on the Lackawanna Police
right,
Department's force, but I am never ever going to forget until this changes that this is still one of the top 5. I'm going to continue saying that top
right,
5 racist cities
right,
in America.
right.
So when we get the cops like Officer Jaworski and we
Uh-huh.
get the cops like Officer No Man, it makes the other cops look a lot worse. It makes them look bad, especially if those are the ones that are coming when it's time to protect and serve.
Right,
And those are the cops that you're getting. And if you look at that post, you'll see a lot of people were having similar issues. People were
right,
chiming in from all over the place,
right.
talking about they've had similar issues with Buffalo. And the majority of the people that have the issues look like me. I'm
Yes,
sorry. It
yes,
is what it is. They look
yes.
like me. And it's not right.
It's
It's not
crazy.
right. I think that this is an opportunity for Lackawanna to look at how they are training their officers because they need to, especially if they aren't coming from a place where they have shared experiences. This happens a lot in the child protection world, where you have people who come into homes, but their home looks like something out of the rich and famous, but they're working with people whose home may look like something out of Good Times. You feel me?
Right,
It's not the same. So you need
right,
to know how to maneuver both avenues.
right.
A lot of these cops, they're thinking with where they came from. Oh, that couldn't be me. I can tell when Officer Noman came in, the way he looked at me, with I don't want to say scorn, but it just was not respect. Like there was no respect there. You know what I mean? Like
It's
I
like
wasn't of high regard to
right.
him.
It's like I don't want to be bothered with this.
Yes.
I don't want to be
Yes. It's
bothered.
just
And it
two minorities
right.
fighting.
And it's crazy because if you look at it in some cases, it's like that, like 80 to 85% of the time. When they come to the person's home, they become the victim.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
the victim becomes the target.
yeah.
It's like when they come to the home, it's like I'm telling you what happened to me.
I was literally hyperventilating. I was literally hyperventilating. And he is still like I'm sitting on the couch and it was just it was horrible. I would not wish that ordeal
Right,
on anyone. Lackawanna has to or should look at how they handle certain calls, especially when it's involving women, because you never know what that women in abuse. You should send another woman officer, number one. You
right,
should always send another woman officer because you don't know what may become. I have bruises on my body. They didn't
Wow.
take pictures, didn't even, none of
Wow.
that. It's horrible. The broken nail, it's just they did ask me if I wanted an ambulance. that
Wow.
that was about it. Edigga, like that was about it. He, and had I not gone up there that day,
Hmm.
they probably wouldn't have even moved on this case. I
Wow.
went up there, and when I went up there, that's when I found out that they were going to just charge him with harassment. And I'm like, how can this just be harassment? Help me understand that. And that was the conversation that me and Officer Noman had. Help me understand why this is just harassment. And then he goes on to tell me, because he was at my house before,
Mm.
that it's harassment, because he used the term familiar. He was familiar with the residents.
Mm.
So that is not breaking and entering. I said, but what about my busted door? Like, I have a busted door now. That's not breaking and entering. Well, I didn't see that. What do you mean you didn't see that? Help me wrap my mind. So imagine a person who's been assaulted in their home, and again, they're going to the place that is supposed to protect and serve them, only to be felt like she's the one who did the wrong. It just blew my mind. So what y'all saw, and if y'all go to my live, what y'all saw was a woman who was feeling helpless.
Wow.
Like, man, like, this is really happening right now. I felt like it was a movie reel, but
Right.
this is my life going on right now.
Right.
And and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder, had my kids, because I have three sons, they're all
Yes.
bigger than me. My baby boy is over 6 feet tall, over 300 pounds. If
Wow.
imagine, if my kids had attacked this boy, now y'all would have hurried up and threw my boys in jail. It's just I'm at loss for words,
Wow.
at how I was treated.
Treated. Yeah.
Thank you to John Ingram. He's a community advocate here in Lackawanna, New York. He has ties all over the place. He is one of the people who called the mayor, because, oh, that's the other thing. So during the live, a lot of people were saying, contact the mayor, Annette Iafello. I contacted the mayor. You know what I was told? There was nothing the mayor could do for me.
Mm.
I'm thinking, well, don't the police report to the mayor?
Stop
Like,
playing.
is that, am I missing something? The
Wow.
police report. Yeah, but she can't do anything for me.
Mm.
I had to call John somebody. Thankfully, John Ingram knew this John, and John did call me a couple of days later. And no, he called me the next day and took my statement. I think I gave the statement 4 times. The statement hasn't changed, y'all, because this is really my story. It's the truth. This really happened to me in my
Right.
home.
Right.
Um, yeah. So that's where we are now. I'm
Wow.
waiting to see. As of Friday, the warrant hadn't came down yet. So thankfully, I haven't gotten killed. Oh, that's the other thing that because I was able to find out within 20 minutes where he was located, because I catfished him. So I was able to find out within 20 minutes, and I posted that on my Facebook page, where he threatened to blow my head off.
I saw that. I saw
Mm-hmm.
that. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was looking at the pictures, I saw the video. Wow.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
gonna take a quick break. Coming back more with my special guest tonight, Miss Vette Green. We are talking about the incident that happened to her. She was assaulted in her own home.
Yep.
What measures, what can we do with the police department, not just in Lackawanna, across this country? What needs to be done? Don't go nowhere. Much more to come. If you're tuning in right now to WLEO 26.7 online radio, I appreciate you. Um, Stay with me. We going to be talking about this. We got to talk about this because, like I said, it's a lot of talk, but we need to get to the bottom of some of these things because it is nerve wracking. And then the police want to know why the public react the way that they act in certain situations. is stuff like this.
Yeah.
If you want a action, there needs to be a reaction. You see what I'm saying? You just can't assume that I'm going to do this and y'all do this. No, I'm type person like this. Meet me halfway.
Right. Right.
The taxpayer dollars are paying some salaries right now.
And Lackawanna, look it up, everybody. They are one of the highest paid officers in the state.
We're gonna get
In the
into that.
state.
We're gonna get into that. Hey, stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Much more to come.
What's on Edigga's mind?
A and B, I'm gonna see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You called the cops on me. I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say and is unabashed to say it. What's on Edigga's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.
And welcome back to the show. What's on Edigga's mind right here on BS3 TV. Make sure you're checking out BS3 TV, everything BS3 TV. Couple ways you can watch the shows. You could go to Facebook at BS3 TV Network. You could go to YouTube, which we're live right now at BS3 TV Network. And if you are blessed with the Roku device, you can download the BS3 TV app and enjoy it in the comforts of your own home. Tonight, good people, I have a special guest. She is the host of Think and Grow with Vette Green and Slow Jammin' and Conversations with Vette Green. My special guest, of course, the incredible Vette Green. What can I say? We was talking about an incident, a very horrific incident that happened to her last Friday, correct?
This happened last Thursday.
Last Thursday.
Yeah.
She was assaulted in her own home. And she contacted the Lackawanna Police Department where she lives. And they did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. And what prompted me to do the show, like I said, is the burning question that I've had for so long after watching videos, countless videos of police brutality, police that's ignoring the citizens of Lackawanna. Some.
Emphasis on that.
Some. And I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And before the break, we was talking about the salaries, taxpayers' money, my money that I work hard for is paying some of these salaries. And I was doing the break. I was trying to find like a breakdown. Article or something, which I cannot seem to find.
Yeah, it's not. You have to be subscribed to. There's an article in the Buffalo News. I was trying to pull it down as well. I know it because I live in Lackawanna, so
Right.
and the taxes are high here too. It's but yeah, Lackawanna is definitely one of the highest paid. You guys can Google it and look for the information yourself. We're in upstate New York.
Right.
Lackawanna is a town in upstate New York, right next to Canada, and the crimes. Uh, so there was we don't get a lot of murders here. There
Right.
were 3 of them.
Right.
All, young black men. None of those crimes have been solved. None of them have been solved. All 3 of them were pretty much around the same area. They have cameras in this area now, and it still has not been solved. None of them.
So it's almost something like Baltimore.
Mm,
Baltimore's number one problem is shootings.
mhm.
It's almost like if I look at the news tonight at 11 o'clock, there are going to be at least 5 or 6 shootings.
Wow.
The problem is the police can't seem to find them.
Yeah.
So it's like bop, 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 go up the street, bop, 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 bop. That's what, 3 people here, 2 people there. You see what I'm saying? And nobody seems to know anything because of some time ago, a family had said, "Hey, I know who did it," and the person's relatives came back and bombed their house. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Street
it's like,
justice.
right. So it's like when that happened, it was like nobody ain't saying nothing. But the police are putting themselves in a position where they just don't know. And this is every week. This is
Mm-hmm.
every single week. Like if I turn on the news tonight, Easter Sunday. Shout out to everybody. Happy Easter, by the way.
Yeah.
Easter Sunday, 10 people got shot. And you see the commissioner and the mayor in the street where it happened during the press conference. And the mayor just looked so flustered, like, police department, the commissioner, this guy came from New Orleans, and we got him after our old commissioner. He got a couple of years in prison for some.
Oh yeah, that is right. I
Right.
forgot about that.
And they flew him down. He took the job. Harrison, Michael Harrison? Michael Harrison. He took the job. Ain't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just pulled this up. But this is from 2022, last year. So I'm gonna pull this up. Highest salary at Lackawanna in year 2022 was 150,686.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of employees at Lackawanna in the year, I don't know, Lackawanna salaries for police.
Yeah.
I
There
don't
was
know. Yeah,
at one time, the highest salary was over $230,000.
right,
Yeah.
right. So that bothers me again, is that I come into the precinct to get some type of result. I get no result because the situation that happened to myself, but we're still paying you thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
do
To do what?
to do nothing.
Yeah, like even while I was there, thank you to Detective Pienta. He's the person who ended up calling and taking my statement for maybe the 4th time.
Wow.
Pienta. He took my statement, and I can't say that he empathized. It felt like he was more like he didn't know what to do. He was trying his best to answer my questions. I even posed the question, well, had I not came in here, what would have been done?
Right.
Did anyone even try and find him? Well, let me let you know where he is. Like I'm telling him, I catfished him, and within 20 minutes, I found out where he was at.
Wow.
Within 20 minutes, Edigga, I was able to find out where he was at. That little bit of
you doing
detective
that
work.
job.
Yes. So I'm giving y'all the phone numbers. I'm giving you the address.
Put
What
Vette
more do you
Green
need?
on the payroll
Okay.
for Lackawanna.
Man, I'm doing a great job. I done gave y'all all the information. I just, what now?
And that's sad when the victim have to do their own research.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad when the victim gotta do what's necessary to protect themselves. That's sad.
Yeah.
Taxpayers are paying y'all X amount of dollars. Here's this woman doing your job.
Right.
What is wrong?
Instead of scrolling on Facebook, scrolling on social media, scrolling on your phone, because that's what the one Detective Jaworski, and he may have been on lunch. I don't know.
Oh
But I'm just telling y'all what I saw when I was in, because of course they took me in the detective room, and Jaworski, as soon as I walked in there, if looks could kill, I would have dropped dead in the doorway. He's the one that the day prior to that, or the day before, he was the one that said to me, well, if I had any grievances with the cops, I would have been here on Friday. That's what Officer Jaworski said to me.
Of course.
So,
I mean, not to cut you off, of course.
mm-hmm.
Because 9 times out of 10, this ain't happened to him.
Exactly. And he's a man who stands over 6 feet tall. You cannot share my
It's crazy that a lot of people in this situation like, oh, I would have done. No, dude. It's easy for you because you are the cop.
Yes.
What you would have done is way different what she would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I'm a man. If that was to happen to me, I had to get myself together.
Facts.
So you just can't. For instance, God forbid, I walk outside this door and get beat down. What you want me to do? Get back up and call y'all?
Yeah.
Do that make sense?
Lackawanna can definitely do with the dosage of training. There's all types of training that they can offer these officers out there now. They have DE&I. There's all types of training because they did not handle that situation well. And had I not have had as many people around me to support me, I can't imagine what I would be going through right now if I just had to deal with the police and didn't have people like you in my corner, people calling me, just being supportive of me. I can't imagine what other people have had to go through that do not have that amount of support to come around them and, place hands on them and love on them and, just to make them feel secure. Because waiting on the Lackawanna Police Department to help me feel secure, I would still be sitting in my living room in the dark, scared, with a knife next to me, scared that someone's gonna, and me and my little granddog who tried to help. You know what I mean? Like it could have been so much different. They need to do some formal training on how to deal with certain situations. Lackawanna, again, is a very, very small town, so a lot of things don't happen and they can't get the experience because it just doesn't go on in this town. But that doesn't mean they can't go be sent off for some training because they need it. These situations may come up.
So a while ago, a long time ago, I was at church and it was me and I was home and I was in charge of security for the church. And this was late. It had to been like 1 o'clock in the morning. And the church alarm goes off and all the alarms in the buildings. We had 3 buildings, and it was my job to address what was going on. Apparently, somebody had broken into the church. They got into the window of the pastor's study downstairs, and they got away. They broke in. I don't know if they took anything or not, and jumped right back out of the window and left. So the officers who came out, it was 4 of them. I told them on the phone, I said, it's me and the cleanup lady, the janitor. Because I called her because when I went in there, I'm scared. I'm cutting on lights and everything. I had to physically go in there and see what was what. and I didn't know if he was still in there, you know. And on the phone, I called 911. I told him, I said, it's me. And by that time, Kathy, that was her name, she had came in because she was like, I just want to be with you, you know, something pop off. So I came in, me and her was there. We was in the lounge area watching TV because that's how long it took them to get there. It took them at least 2 hours to get there. That's one. Couldn't believe it. When they got there, the office where we was at, you could see people coming up the door. So I went out. They had guns drawn with the flashlight. I'm at the door and it has a window. And I'm like, and I told them on the phone, I said, it's me and the housekeeper or the janitor lady. Is the only two in here. They, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
2 hours later?
2 hours later. You know, the SpongeBob there, 2 hours later. Guns drawn. We like this, not moving. I said, we the victims.
Right.
We're the victims. So
wow.
they lowered the guns. I opened up the door. One dude still had the gun drawn in the back. I said, can you tell your man to put down his gun, please? I still got one hand up like this.
Right.
And I'm like, tell your man's to, you know, put down his gun in the back. Him right there. Came downstairs, looked around. Are you okay? I said, I'm fine. Asked her if she was okay. She was like, well, I'm here. I'm just getting here. Blah. And looked at her like she could possibly do it.
Oh, God.
And I said, wait a time out. Flag on the play. Interception. 15-yard penalty.
Right.
She just got here. Yeah, they were circling around her.
That's
like,
what they do.
They were circling around her like she did it. Did I miss something? I said, it's two of us in here. 2 of us in here. The cleaning lady. That's the cleaning lady.
You can't make this stuff up. I know.
And so and throughout that incident, up until present time, I'm like, what are they teaching these people in the academy?
Yeah.
Do they need to go? Everybody need to go back in training.
Yeah.
Because I'm almost certain that when you got into the academy, it was like this. Times change. Times change, events change, people change, a lot of things change.
It makes me think about how the police handle mental health cases. You know, remember during when the George Floyd happened, when that all went down, that was a huge topic. Right. And this makes me wonder also because every call is not the same. So they should not handle every call the same way. There has to be some type of training to handle these calls.
And now they have implemented a situation where if it's mental illness, they're sending someone. And I've been saying that before. I said, well, damn, if somebody is a little off the rocker, send a psychiatrist or someone within the police department that has that type of training. When you get that call, well, that person is not mentally stable. I think I need to send a couple of officers and Officer Billy, who is specialized in diffusing situations like these, along with the officers to talk to them. Not the trigger happy, go lucky, go get them boys to go to try to diffuse it, because all they're going to do is pull triggers.
Yeah.
And something that you said, no woman was present.
Exactly.
No woman was present. So it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is why people are reacting to officers the way that they are at reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're wondering, like, why can't we get that? Remember, people, remember officer friendly? We don't even see that no more in schools.
Wow.
We don't even see that. We don't even see that no more in schools.
Yeah. Was officer friendly ever really friendly, bro?
No. No.
To some people, not to us.
Right.
Unfortunately. To some
Hey,
people, not to us.
Hey, Vet, I want to say before I close, I want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show to share your story. Secondly, is if there's anything that I can do, I'm here. Anything that I could possibly do on my end to try to get a faster result, let me know. And for the people that's out there that's listening and watching, just be cautious. Just be cautious. You know, these situations it's unfortunate of what happened to you. And we can't stop that. But just know that there are some good police out there. There are some good officers out there who would listen and at least help. I do need to say that. So thanks again, Vet, for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Also, before you leave, tell the people out there where they can find you.
Yes, thank you. You can find me right here on WLEO 26.7 every Sunday at 7 p.m. Slow jamming and conversations with Vette Green. I'm here every Sunday. I'm so glad to be back. This was my very first home, Charm City Direct TV Network. I missed you, Edigga. I
I
forgot
miss you too.
how
Yeah.
much, man. We used to have so much fun. But
Right.
I'm over on Tuesdays. I'm over with Don on the Evening Rush. I ended up going over there after, life happens, Charm
Right.
City, but I'm Charm City still on there. It feels so good seeing these things grow, from
Right.
Charm City over to the Evening Rush, and now I'm here in my hometown of Buffalo, New York, over at 716 Live on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's all family, Charm
Yes.
City, the Evening Rush, 716 Live. It's all
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And I got my bro with me, Franklin, the Overlook Joker MC. So I'm just grateful for all of you guys. And anytime, I'm always ready to come over here to Charm City. Just invite me and I'm here. So I
That's what's
appreciate you,
up.
Edigga, so much. And thank you for helping me, see this vision of Vette Green. I'll be forever grateful to you for
Not a
that,
problem.
because you really were my very, very first producer. You were the very first one that took me seriously. Very right from the beginning, you took me serious, and forever be grateful for that. As
That's
I
what's
grow,
up.
just know that you were a part of this becoming. So I
That's what's up.
appreciate you so much. And
I
have
appreciate
a
you,
great
Vet.
night, everybody. I love y'all. Long life. Make sure y'all check me out at Vette Green if you need a daily dose of motivation. Got to go take care of my mom now.
All right.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Everybody, that was Vette Green as my special guest. One final thing before I close. I just need to say this, to all my friends on Facebook, to all people out there who are in the police department. I always say this: who am I? Who am I? Who am I to get on here and talk about police officers and things of that nature? I never wanted to be one. That's first of all. But the ones who are, there's this little thing, it's a big organ that operates your whole body. And that is called a heart. That is called your heart. Some people need to horn in to your heart. Have a feeling, have some type of compassion. What if this was and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, God forbid, that I would not wish any of this on anyone. That's first and foremost. But what if this was your mom? What if this was your aunt, your sister, your grandmother who was assaulted in your house, and you were a officer, I'm just gonna say. Now it's so easy for the officer to say, "Oh, I'll go handle it in my own way. I'm an officer of the law." Of course, of course. But this was someone else in their home. This was someone else in their home. Have a heart, have some type of compassion, and remember to protect and serve. That is my time. Shout out to my special guest, Vette Green. Make sure you check her out on Think and Grow with Vette Green. Also, right here on WLEO 26.7 online radio every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Slow jamming and conversations with Vette Green, the overlooked MC, the Joker. He is the producer there. 716 Radio Media, the Evening Rush Network, all of those guys over there. Shout out to you. Make sure you are checking out everything BS3 TV. Make sure you go to Facebook, YouTube, and Roku if you have the device. Hey, what can I say, good people? I holla at you, and I'm never ready when I'm about to close. I holla at you when I smile at you. Peace.